Hi, so this is my completely normal EIM game, or however the heck you say it, confessional on, well, this is during Night 3 Twilight. So I guess we're going into Night 4 not knowing the flips, but I'm going to do something a little bit differently than, I guess, like a traditional confessional, where it's more like I kind of go through the entire game so far from my perspective and I guess give my thoughts and stuff on what happened. So it's been a while since I've last played this game. I don't actually remember when the last one I was. If I look at the archive, I want to say it was Disney, and it was Disney, I think. Yeah, I mentored in YouTube, but that's like not playing. It's very different. Anyway, so yeah, it's the first game I've played in a long time. And this playlist is definitely affected by the meta shifts of having a ton of new players and a ton of other players who I haven't played with too much who kind of joined after, like, I guess my quote unquote peak. And so there's not a ton of familiarity in this playlist for me. There's people I vaguely know and stuff like that, but yeah, I feel like I definitely did not have a ton of connections coming in here. And even though I'd hosted a few games, I definitely don't kind of stalk chats as a host in the way I used to when I was newer to it. I don't know. I guess just kind of gets less interesting the more games you do it. But anyway, so basically, I kind of go into this game with like expectations of just I've got to try and reach out to a lot of people. I kind of looked at the playlist and I knew like, well, there was one thing I knew of this game. I knew that I wanted to try and carry C7 to a win, which is kind of preposterous to think about, mostly because I can't carry myself to a win anymore. But I don't know. I'm kind of sad that they keep getting stabbed in like every end game, and I want to see if I can do right by them. So that was kind of like my goal going in, along with my fun bingo card that Graveyard probably doesn't have, and to be honest, has been kind of I definitely haven't been pursuing it. I'll say that. There are things I've done on the bingo card, but I definitely haven't been going out of my way to do all the funny little things on there. I don't know. I just feel like the game kind of got too serious, and in doing them, I'd probably be fucking a lot of people over for haha memes. So, kind of sucks. Instead, I'm just fucking people over because I'm like bad at the game, or maybe not bad at the game. I'm not really sure anymore, to be honest. But I'm getting ahead of myself there, so let's continue on. So if we go to the starting playlist, uh, aside from C7, as I mentioned, I knew I'd probably be working a lot of Alert because Alert is also a fossil, haha. And other than that, there weren't like a ton of people who I traditionally worked a ton with. There was like Arby. I kind of thought like, if you stop the playlist as soon as I'd letter A, it kind of looks good for me. And then it just gets progressively worse and worse as you go down. But yeah, I kind of knew like key people in the game would be like Arby, Eli, Fort, um, and like Waffles and Spiders and people like that. So I guess I kind of went in like knowing I need to try my best to kind of like social as many people as possible. And when I join games, I do try to get like talking to people who I don't traditionally work with. Partly because I think it's like good play, and partly because I think it's boring to just talk to the same people all the time. And it's kind of a mixed bag on if it works or not. So, yeah. basically, this was a very nothing night one, I will say. So I'm thinking of the main things that happened this night one was me trolling MOTK chat with notorious MOTK members Alette, Rykaria, Rando, and Eli, who made the chat. And yeah, Eli, MOTK, haha, very funny. To be honest, still not entirely sure if he made it with the intent to leak us from the start, or if like the extent of what he leaked and stuff. But I'm pretty sure he was just like fine throwing like Alette and maybe Rando under the bus. So yeah, that was an experience for sure. But yeah, we kind of worked together night one, and I definitely kind of trolled in the MOTK chat because Rando mentioned the MSI alias being me, and I was kind of like, and it was getting shots on it. I was kind of like, if it happens, it happens, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but basically, I kind of trolled him into thinking it was actually me until I like told him in the end. I was like, and then he's like, "Fuck you, I'm letting you get shot next time." So thanks for that, Rando. Very cool. Um, in the end of the phase, I kind of uh, I seemed to be on good terms with Spiders at the end of the phase, and Spiders said that he was killing MSI, which was the alias that Fort had fake leaked himself as in pub chat, and then I think he deleted the fake leak, and then because Fort's a watcher, he just put a watch on his own alias to see what happened. And I kind of knew this was happening, and maybe I should have like I don't know, maybe I could have warned Spiders and stopped like the entire war from getting incited in the first place. But to be honest, I don't think my brain just made the connection until like maybe during Twilight, and I was kind of like, oh well, it'll be fine. And then like Spiders versus Fort War, which was probably completely preventable by me, happened day two. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. Um, so I kind of went through the day like expecting, like waiting for Spider's alias specifically to get PoE'd. It wasn't like at first because there were 5 people on the watch. I think Arby like claimed himself to like avoid getting shot at, and to be honest, I'm still not entirely sure how he managed to do it. But yeah, this guy keeps telling you he's washed, by the way, haha. Very funny. But yeah, he managed to get himself out of that. But people who definitely did not get out of it unscathed were Spiders himself, because well, yeah. So there was a lot of paranoia on the Night 2 playlist because everyone was kind of eyeing the potential final three of Eli, Waffles, and Spiders. And uh, everyone, included me, I was not like entirely sold on necessarily that Eli was going to be 100% leaking to them. And he had been saying that like he was not doing that, basically, that he wasn't that close to them. But I was definitely just taking it with a grain of salt and making sure to not leak anything important to him. Um, Unfortunately, I maybe should have told this explicitly to like the rest of MOTK. Um, because yeah, they started talking about killing spiders in that chat, and I was basically sitting there like, yeah, I don't think killing spiders is great tonight. And this was like, um, so this was like partly true, I guess, because I did get the feeling that spiders wasn't going to shoot me, but the kind of flow of the game, I guess, meant that basically Spiders was eyeing shots on a ton of people I talked to. So it was like Alette, Rando, and Fort were like the main ones. And hmm, I don't know. This is kind of becoming like a theme, I guess, to me. It's kind of like I read the game state and where it should go, and then like, how do I say this? Okay, so I kind of sit there and think, okay, if nothing happens here, then X is like a huge threat, and I don't know if I can win. So I kind of get in like the early stages of talking to people in order to kind of make it so there is not like in some cases like to kill them or well I guess in both cases it was like potentially I was like, do we need to kill them? And then in doing this, I basically stumble across like other people already doing it, and then I'm kind of like, oh, hmm, I don't know if this means I have good game state reads or if I have bad game state reads, you know? Like if it's already happening, or if I kind of it feels like me kicking it off. Uh, I feel like in benefit of hindsight, not knowing the host sheet, the 8 damage I placed on spiders, probably not necessary. And but at the same time, this game is very has been like very low on alias information until like nearing the end of night 3. So at the end of like night 3, I have a decent amount of aliases, but still not everything I want, kind of. But anyway, yeah, I kind of sank a ton of damage into spiders, basically because he was killing a ton of my other allies, and I didn't. I was kind of looking at the playlist, and I looked at all the people I'd have to compete with and yanderize out in order to win with spiders. And to be honest, I'm just not a good enough player anymore, not able to like take that dance and be confident I can win it. So I kind of went for the hedging my bets play of making sure Spiders was dead. And this was before I kind of knew. Well, I didn't know about the Eli kill. I only knew his alias had leaked. I didn't know there was a Waffles kill, and did kind of try to make sure it was happening. Well, I kind of tried to make it happen, and then found out it was already happening. So I just kind of left that alone. This was basically because of the aforementioned Eli Waffles um, Spiders F3, and I figured of the 3 alive, I would probably have, if it was only one of them still alive, I feel like I'd have the most angles to work with Eli. And then all 3 of them died anyway. So, kind of, yeah, that definitely happened. But the night 2 was quite, it was an experience because it was kind of like, dear God, everyone shooting spiders keeps getting leaked. Like, I think it definitely happened to like at least 4 people, possibly more. But I think the big kind of X factors in the spiders kill were probably, well, I think the biggest one in terms of single damage is me. But I think Dactyl played like a pretty big role in knocking spiders out because I think he kind of recruited a couple of people into it. But yeah, so that like happened night 2, and I feel like I'm kind of jumping around a bit. I guess I'll quickly time go back in time. I haven't like written anything for this if you can't tell. To like the night 1 flips. I guess like rural locality Marsha was like our MOTK stealth, and we basically did this because Callahan vetoed this alias. And it seems like they just kind of visited it at random. I think 'cause I don't think March necessarily had like a connection to them, but yeah, we kind of ran stealth March. I think Savi got killed by spiders, Eli Waffles, somewhere in that kind of vicinity, because I think they were. I never actually got around to having a chat with them before Night 1 ended. I don't think they saw my I either didn't accept or didn't see my friend request before that time. But yeah, basically what happened there was I think they were just being too open about potentially shooting into the army power players block. And so I think once their alias leaked, they just kind of died. And then Dom was a kill by spiders, and the new group of PSs led, as far as everyone can tell, by Lindona. Is it Lindona? Lindwana? I think it's Lindona. If I'm mispronouncing you, sorry. But yeah, the other notable thing there was obviously that the MSI alias died, and a bunch of other noises, but the MSI one was critical because it had the watch on it. But yeah, so now going back to I guess like end of night two, I think with the information I had, I think putting a shot on spiders was reasonable. However, probably shouldn't have put as much damage as I did, but at the same time, I think I probably would have just put the extra damage that was on spiders onto waffles instead because of my lack of alias info for that night phase. So I don't know if it was necessarily like a good play, but it was definitely not the worst. And I mean, it's maybe possible that like my 8 damage actually did secure Spiders' kill. And if it did, that probably did change the entire game. But yeah, all of those people died, and the only other death of the uh, night was Callahan, who like chose to leave and had the meme 27 marks win condition that Abby told me about, and I told him he was full of shit. So yeah, that kind of shows me, huh? So anyway, this brings us to the current night, or should I say, the night that just happened, which is night three. And this night was not my favorite. Not my favorite by a long shot. So I've kind of been skipping over like I guess the majority of the days. But I guess night one I was like decently active. Night two, I'm saying night deliberately to annoy Shadower, by the way. And definitely not by like force of habit. But yeah, okay. So like phase two, I was like pretty lazy during the first part, and then kind of pulled it together during like the second half of the phase. And then because the game state shifted so like violently at the beginning of night three, I also put in like a ton of effort there. And then I think that was like probably in some ways a mistake, 'cause I definitely just kind of ran out of social energy for the phase then, because I kind of got to like late night, I kind of got into night three, and I kind of made the well, it's hard to say it's necessarily a mistake, I think, knowing what I do now. If anything, it was like it has probably helped me to be more informed and like better socially connected. But I was kind of looking at the playlist and trying to predict where things would be going, right? Because I think that's generally like a good thing to do, like the playlist along with the kind of existing game state. And a thing I noticed was that the new PSs uh, seem to be beefing with a lot of random people from various groups, and they seem to be afraid of like a lot of people. I think Lindona may have like even been kind of trying to alias fish me at one point in the phase, and they told me I'd been caught, but I'm fucking Godfather lol. So I was definitely like, oh no. Anyway, So yeah, that definitely happened. They had my alias wrong, which is also funny. They thought I was the alias that I'm in fact shooting tonight. So that is definitely a play, huh? So I completely lost track of my thoughts. Okay, so yeah, I was kind of reviewing the game state, and I was kind of doing this while talking to Abby, and I kind of said something like, I'm not actually sure who would shoot Fort here, or something along those lines, because he seemed to be like in good with like most groups. And then it turned out like Abby and like uh Abdel, who I'd also been talking to a decent amount, had kind of just already been kind of working on getting Fort murdered. And at the time, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is good for me, but I'm also like, I'm kind of looking at Fort's obvious F4, and well, spot number one and two are like Dactyl and Rando. And I mean, Rando being in there is good for me, but like I kind of got the feeling that Dactyl was doing a lot of talking to a lot of people, and I definitely wasn't near the top of their priority. I didn't think Folk would shoot me the same way like Rando would, but I also kind of like wasn't sure, and I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I like hesitated too much or if there's anything I could have done. But yeah, Folk said that they wouldn't be around for most of the phase, so I was kind of sitting there like, um, okay, he's won one war while AFK, but I don't feel like he can win two when he doesn't know what's going on. And yeah, I don't know. I In order to kind of save Ford, I felt like I had to throw a ton of people under the bus again. And I don't know. This is definitely like a play I'm unsure of and don't know like what the correct move was here because I feel like um it does keep me in kind of the same situation where I'm kind of repeat competing for a fourth slot in the game, and this is annoyingly like so the most locked in the slot in the game to me does feel like Dactyl still, and so I do really need to work on that. It's maybe not so locked anymore for dying, assuming Fort dies. Um, but like I definitely need to work on that, like socially or with guns, like one of these ways. I would like to actually be able to resolve one of my problems socially one of these days. I keep trying it, but it feels like everyone else is just being here like, I demand violence, and I'm just kind of like a deer in headlights, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if like the way I'm playing this is right or wrong. I feel like it's really hard to just say, and hmm, like hmm, as like a host, right? I'm generally like pretty understanding of like, yeah, people will make mistakes, especially in like a long game with lots going on. But it's definitely like hits different even then when you're in it and you're kind of just like, man, I forgot how like tiring this shit can be. How the fuck did I used to do this, you know? Like that is honestly probably why I do feel like I'm washed. Just because like I don't know how to be like uber social anymore. Like I just can't like I just can't do it to the same extent. So yeah, that's kind of what happened mostly. Kind of the other concern I had, I guess, to contextualize this. Um, I've kind of wanted to keep the game state reasonably balanced in terms of groups. And so, like, obviously, PS taking some. Mm, well, I guess, like, the army group of PS took a lot of damage. I guess the. like other group of PS, like I don't know, like Neo second gen, whatever PS, they kind of are doing quite well still, and maybe that's something I need to keep an eye on going forward because they seem to have been like the main group to escape tonight unscathed. But the one I was thinking about that I actually ended up putting damage on was just like the Chaos faction, just because I felt like they were being ignored by everyone in the game at this rate, and I felt like there were already kills on Lindana to like this would weaken kind of the new PS faction, especially with Callahan gone, who was kind of my main point of contact in that group, even if I couldn't tell ever if they were just bullshitting me of like everything they said or not. Um, but yeah, I kind of wanted that group neutered, so um, hopefully that is being dealt with by like people who are with Fort. Fort is obviously being shot by like RB, Lit, Daxel, Tenshi, I think, which is definitely a thing of all time. I'm thinking, yeah, and then hopefully I score a kill onto whoever Nowhere to Go is, who I think is someone Chaos Faction aligned, but I'm still not entirely sure. To be honest, like the probably best case scenario for me would be like Seaman or I don't know. I don't know. I definitely was like pretty mentally like that at deadline yesterday. I kind of went away for a while and got like a little bit better, and then kind of came back and somehow accidentally got a doc from Cyraxis, I think, maybe. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's a thing I haven't talked about. I didn't really talk anything about my role this game because in terms of like the role itself, there isn't too much to say except for the fact that I think the host forgot to do something to Dom's role because he flipped something that's just objectively my role but with an extra utility prio shot. And I think they probably meant to have the utility prio shot disappear at night 5 but forgot to or something. Either that or my role is underpowered and I can blame everything that happens on this game on that. But yeah, my role started as it started as Fail's Godfather, uh, Might debuff, delayed ability block, which is actually objectively just worse than being a tracker for the first two nights. Like, unironically, this role is fucking useless. Like, when do you know that you want to ability block someone on night 2 during night 1? Like, when do you have the alias info to do that? Like, you don't. Like shotbox are at least like easier to use, but like delayed ability blocks, this is functionally like it's like a better version of disable, right? Because you can just do it and it won't murder you socially. But like, I don't know, I get that it exists for like buffing it into other stuff, but at the same time, I kind of feel like, yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's pretty crappy. But yeah, at least it's become like an ability delay now, and that is like decent. But yeah, that was definitely a very feels bad role to have because it's basically a disable, but you only have it for the first two nights, which are like the two nights of the game you really don't want a disable for because it's kind of just socially awful, not good at like responding to like the reactive nature of early game and stuff like that. But on the most important and most pivotal ability of this game that I've rolled is the almighty vigilante gift. And you see, there aren't a ton of people who know I have this because I've been fake claiming the most horrendous dogshit doctor of all time. So I like noticed they said that ninjas don't. They said something about ninjas triggering witches and insects in this game, and I was kind of like, hmm. So I was like, what if I claimed Interceptor, but it's a doc? And it's such like a useless fucking role, but it's not on like any alias list. It's not any kind of tier list, so people like wouldn't know how to measure it. And I feel like everyone who I claimed it to just kind of took me as I would. It's like, wow, that's a really fucking stupid role. Either that, or they just kind of accepted I was lying and just like left it alone. But yeah, I kind of did this not to hide my disruptors, but to hide my beneficial because I didn't want to claim it to everyone and get everyone asking for the gift. So instead, I gave it night one to my one true F2 C7, who also had a big gift, it turns out. So yeah, we traded with each other during night one. So I had a bunch of damage there from that, and a shot motivate from Alette, which is how I did 8 damage to spiders. Uh, spiders, I'm both sorry and hoping you took 27. Nothing personal. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I did with my big gift that night. And in an even greater stroke of genius, night two, I was definitely panicking because we know in hindsight that the Spiders War went horribly not in his favor. He didn't manage to get any kills, and all of my allies lived. But however, without the power of hindsight and with kind of the very limited information I felt like I had on this game, I couldn't tell who was actually supposed to be with spiders and who wasn't until quite late in the phase, and I think it was definitely late enough into the phase that I was kind of sitting here like, to not mince words, like I was not my sanest. Yeah. So I was definitely at the point where I was just like, let's. I'm getting like paranoid that like spiders will be like alive and well, I was kind of assuming Spiders was dead at that point, yeah. There was a point where I was thinking of like putting 8 damage onto Spiders and also Vigilante gifting him, so if I got caught on a watch, there would be no way he could think it was me. I fortunately didn't go through with that plan, and instead went with the much more sensible train of thought, which was, I think all my allies might be dying, except Ricaria, whose alias I couldn't remember at the time. And so, with the stroke of genius with the alias list I had, I sent my vigilante gift to one General Cyraxus. Yeah, so I did that. I didn't have a chat with Cyraxus, by the way. Like, I just did it. It just seemed like the right thing to do. And it kind of paid off because I kind of ended up somehow accidentally getting his heal doc for tonight, maybe? Possibly. I don't know. But yeah, I've somehow used this to get myself potentially a dock and got myself and some of my allies off of Cyrax's rand list. That's how we play EIMM, folks. Um, but yeah, I think that's essentially kind of everything that's happened in the game now. Um, looking forwards, uh, I I don't know. I am like quite tired, to be honest. I feel like the 48-hour night three really did me in. And with like such a huge kind of massive U-turns that the game state is doing like every night is kind of exhausting. It's very weird because I feel like old game states were never like this. in terms of you could kind of predict where it was going a lot more easily. And I feel like this the annotations constantly is definitely taking like a lot out of me. But I guess people of interest who I expect to be alive tomorrow that I can quickly go over. So Alette is probably the ally I do trust the most still. I don't feel like she has kind of the ends with like PSs that Rando does. But I feel like the less allies you have, kind of the more good you tend to be to the allies that you do have. I feel like I'm probably like a good example of this game because like I keep just getting stretched too thin with allies on like both sides of conflicts and just not knowing how to deal with it and then just kind of having to watch shit hit the fan because like if I move I kind of botch my position. So that kind of sucks. Um, C7 still trying to win with him. Abi is in as far as I can tell, like a pretty insane position. I don't know who shoots Abi at the moment. Um, like especially if this fort kill works, I feel like Abi could just be cruising to a win. And I do definitely have ins with him, but I probably would need to bop some people along the way in order to make sure I get that position. Um, Other people notable. I feel like Fan should definitely be notable. I keep hearing their name, but our chats are just kind of memes, and I don't really know. Um, I don't know. Maybe I should probably talk to them, but like I keep saying, burnout, right? Sucks. Phones has apparently got like a couple of sheep this game, and we're on like decent terms, and he is shooting Lindwana, which is what I am supposed to be doing. Lindona. Yeah, yeah, that one. Cyraxis is winning this game. All of you are fools. The Cyraxis faction masterminded everything here. Uh, Abdel has been like a surprise hit with me this game, I guess. Like I never really spoken to them much, but I feel like we did have some like good chats and stuff. And even though they're not necessarily doing a kill I would like them to be doing, haha. I'm yeah, I feel like we're on good terms. We've like talked about some kind of like under the radar shit, I guess, that like I don't think you just kind of talk to without doing that. Dactyl, I felt like I might be like okay with him. I don't feel like I'm necessarily his prio, and I feel like his position might be slipping a bit now that Fort's been offed. I feel like he's definitely a lot less secure, and kind of I felt like I did need one of Fort or Dactyl dead to continue making like good progress and go deep into the game. And so while losing Fort is far from ideal, I think it does mean that like I this probably is a kill that I don't have as much need to do anymore, which is like a good thing. Lindona is hopefully dying tonight. Lit exists, probably needs to die at some point for just being like potentially a win slot taker. Uh, I am skipping a lot of people just because my voice hurts. I've been just doing this for like 40 minutes. OJ is like good with a bunch of my allies, and I kind of have okay chats with him sometimes, but I definitely just kind of whiffed it with him night 3 and just didn't talk very much. Apparently he's just going just apparently they had to let a like party after finding that they found Annie's alias. So yeah, that's like a decision of all time. Uh I am Ricarius Sheep, of course. Um Brando I'm in a good spot with, but I feel like The folk kill definitely hurts him more than me because I feel like he was definitely more in a circle than I was. I could be completely wrong here. I could be absolutely fucking wrong here, and maybe I should have just like said everything. I don't know. I don't feel like I had enough info to feel like I could win a proxy war 4 against everything. Um, Sion's hilarious. And Zorquax is kind of like here vaguely threatening a win slot. Maybe should have put damage onto him last night, but I have been trying to social him more. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if it's like wishful thinking or not. That maybe I should have just put my show on him last night, but uh, you can't say that I don't try sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I think just like the flips will massively impact like what I need to do, but I probably need to keep playing the balancing game. I don't think new PS is necessarily going to be much of a threat left with Lindona gone. So I guess I need to social the ones I do have vaguely active chats with, which I don't think I have any anymore. So I'm a little bit fucked. Yeah, I think I just need to step up my social game quite a bit and make sure like things are okay. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I hope someone enjoyed listening to me ramble for 40 minutes. Good night forever.